Hi everyone, and welcome to my first video of Street Talk. I'm China Urban Fox, and I'm going to do something a bit off the cuff and a bit different from what I usually do. I'm not going out and about today. I'm not going to some location in the city and making one of those pre-prepared vlogs for you, which I hope you do like. But I'm going to experiment with something new. So today I've just come to a familiar place, the local mall, which is called the Ring in downtown Ubei district. I do have a video on my channel, you can watch that if you like. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to speak about a particular topic on every video. Since this is the first one I'm doing, I'm going to choose one for you, but if you like what you're watching and if you want to request something, because I've been in China I came to China about 23 years ago. Maybe I've spent about 19 years in China in total. I've lived, I've worked here. My wife is Chinese, I have 2 children here. So I have a lot of relevant experience that I could share with you. So if you have a topic, a question that you would like to request of me, just feel free to drop that down below. Also, I do want to say that I'm not a really natural speaker on camera, so I'm going to do this unscripted. If I mess it up, I mess it up. I'm not going to allow myself any retakes. And if you really know me, whenever I make some of those vlogs, I kind of prepare a lot of the comments and information I give to you. And often it's the case that I do 5 or 6, 7 retakes of a particular scene before I get the language correct and also present it in the exact tone that I would like. But that's not the case today. I'm just going to do everything kind of off the cuff. I'm just going to be working off some of these key points here, and let's just see how it goes. Okay, so the question I want to talk about today is why I came to China and whether or not it was a political decision. To give you a straight answer, no, no, not at all. But let's go through the main points that I want to share with you today. So why did I come to China in the first place? So if you haven't already told from my accent or what I've spoken about in my previous videos, I'm from Leicester in England, the United Kingdom. And I actually came to China in 2003 after I graduated. And the reason is, maybe it was ordained by fate or something, but near graduation, about half a year before I graduated, I had a tutor who mentioned that, there's a program going on and you can come to China and work as an ESL teacher, like an English language assistant. And it was a really unique experience. And after graduation, if you're not tied down by houses, careers, spouses or anything like that, it's something we would strongly recommend you do. So I just thought to myself, hey, yeah, that sounds a good idea, let's apply for it. And I did, and I ended up here in Chongqing. How exactly, I think we can discuss in another video. But anyway, it is something that really appealed to me, and not long after I arrived, I just thought, this is a really good way just to live a different life, go on a different path in life and not be involved in the typical rat race back in the United Kingdom. But very soon I realised that, it's a lot of fun living here, especially in Chongqing. There's so much you can do here. It's a 24-hour city, and as long as you're willing to pay for it, you can do everything you like. Also, it's a healthier city. So I'm in my mid-40s now and I'm still in really good shape. And of course, I live a very healthy lifestyle. I exercise a lot, and it's not necessarily the case for every foreigner out there. So of course, you still have to make the right decisions in life. But I do think the opportunities to live healthy here are, I would say, more available than in the United Kingdom. Like on my doorstep here in Mountain City, I have a little mountain that I go and climb most days. I just walk about a bit more. We have a subway system which I can walk to and from every day. Also, I eat really well here, have all of the the healthy meat and vegetables and all that. And I'm sure people out there will be saying, oh, what about all of the gutter oil and, the horrific air pollution, the tainted products and all that. And my answer to that would be yes, that is a big issue here in China, but, it can be avoided. And it's not like on a lot of the overhyped channels that you see on social media, YouTube as well. These are issues, but there are ways to avoid them if you make, informed choices in your everyday life. Also, life is a lot cheaper here. So, if you want a really lavish lifestyle, you can go to Shanghai, and I'm sure you can burn through tens of thousands of yuan every month if you like. But really here, I'm working from home recently, and I've come out for a bit of lunch, and I'll go for one just after I've made this video, and I will go out and I'll have like a very nice meal, very filling, healthy. It'll maybe cost me about 20 to 25 yuan, and then also in the mall here I can stop for a coffee as well, and I can get like a big cup for like 13 yuan. Okay, so living here, if you watch your spending, if you're not unnecessarily lavish, then really compared to the United Kingdom, here is a really cheap, economical place to live. Yeah, and also opportunities in general. So, if you want to come here and work as an English teacher, there were opportunities still all over the country. I kind of moved on to other things. I work a lot in social media, also media collaboration. I also worked in a state enterprise, in a professional media organisation as a journalist for many years. So, whatever, your your specialties, your special skills are in life. There's something here for you in China, as long as you're willing to go out and make that step. Of course, if you can get your hands on a permanent foreign residence card like I have, which allows you to work freely, if you can speak the Mandarin language like I do, and also you're able to read and write it, that's also a big advantage. But even if you can't, there's still lots of opportunities out there for you. Okay, so let's get on to the political side of things. Was it a political decision leaving the United Kingdom? Well, no, because I came here after graduation just looking for a potential new path in life, a unique experience. But also here in China, in name, it's a communist country. And, often when I go back to England on a family visit, some of my old friends will say, how can you live in a communist country and all that? And, my answer to that would be that, maybe, China is, communist in a political sense, but in terms of day-to-day life, it really doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And I'm going to try and elaborate a little bit on that for you. So, I think for day-to-day life, it's not really that different from living in a Western country. And I always really like that quote from Naomi Klein, which, I read a lot of her books in the past and some of her commentary, media interviews and all that. And I think, one of her best descriptions of the political and economical system in China is that you could describe it as authoritarian, you could describe it as authoritarian capitalism. That's what I was looking for. Market Stalinism, or her personal favourites, but communism. And, for me, that feels very true. Because whenever you come here, it doesn't matter whether you're living here, travelling, working. Nobody demands that you're a communist here, or that you even believe in communist ideology, which I don't. So, I think, as long as, you don't cause them any trouble, you just, get on with your life, your everyday work. It really does not make any difference on you whatsoever. And okay, so maybe we don't get to vote on the local leaders, let alone know who's in charge in Beijing or whatever. But having said that, even in the UK, even if you vote, I don't think it really makes a big difference. A lot of people, they go out to the voting box, the polling stations every 4 or 5 years. They put a piece of paper in a box and they think, oh yes, I made a choice. I chose who leads this country, and I have a say now in the geopolitical decisions of this country. Well, I mean, if you believe that, you're a complete chump. And I can tell you that in all of my life, I've never voted once in the United Kingdom, nor in Brexit. I mean, I wasn't able to anyway, especially being a resident outside of the country for so long. But really, when you come to think about it, it's not really that free in the United Kingdom. So if you live there, what happens if you don't pay extortionate income tax? Which, depending on your threshold, it could be 30%, 40, 50%. But well, what happens? You're going to get arrested, you're going to be locked in a cage, your assets, if you have any, are going to be confiscated and they're going to be sold off at auction so you can pay the government back for whatever they claim you owe them, for their crappy services. Or another thing that's been hot in social media the last 5-10 years or so, and something that would have been unimaginable for me 20 years ago when I first came to China, is that you could be arrested and locked up in a cage, a jail, for 20, 30 months for writing an offensive social media post. Yeah, okay, so if you complain about illegal migrants running rampant, going on the rampage in the country, then as long as you cause somebody some kind of potential offence, then yes, you could be locked up for 20 or 30 years. But here in China, I don't know anybody who's been locked up for social media posts personally. I'm not saying there aren't any, but I don't know any. Yeah, and also I can tell you that in all of my 23 years in China, and I'm sure this will be a bit of a shock for some people, but it's true that I've never been stopped by the authorities, the police or anybody, and I've never been asked for my papers. I've never been searched out on the street. Of course, when you go through airport security or something, you have to go through security, but that's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, I've never been interrogated and never been abused or had my freedom curtailed in any way here in China in all of 23 years. Okay, so I think that really tells you something, doesn't it? Okay, I don't know how long I've been talking for, but I think for my first attempt, I've done a fairly good job, I think. I haven't stopped the video at any point, and I think as long as I have a good start and I get into the groove, I feel that I can kind of speak coherently and non-stop for a decent amount of time. Okay, so that's going to be my first effort for today, and it's going to be my weekly video. I do hope this performs well on YouTube. I do want this to be an open discussion. So if you've lived in China before, you've travelled here, and you have some relevant experiences, maybe you agree with me, you disagree with me, I'm absolutely fine with everything. You can leave it in the comments, and even some of my trolls, on my past videos. I remember on my past video, I went to Chongqing East Railway Station, and I was just commenting how maybe it's the biggest station in the world in terms of floor area, but it's still pretty deserted at the moment. But I mean, I call them trolls, but I'm actually still very appreciative, for them watching the video and leaving their comments. And yes, it is true that a lot of the infrastructure here in China, they build it first, and as part of long-term planning, maybe over the coming years, they will build up a lot of commercial or residential areas, and slowly, the people will come. And after this, Chongqing Xiamen high-speed line is completed, it might be that 3 or 4 years down the line, 2030, it will be packed with passengers. Okay, so that might be the case, it might not be, but I can tell you, I will be here in 2030 to go and visit that station, and we will see whether that has come to fruition or not. And I can tell you with other infrastructure projects in China, mega projects, sometimes it goes to plan, sometimes it doesn't, and it just very quietly gets deserted. So we'll wait and see on that one. As you can see, I'm a pretty open-minded person. But anyway, finally, I've chosen this topic for you today because this is my first attempt at this. But really, I want to know what you want to know. So if you have any questions, whatever it is about China, marrying a Chinese woman, life and work here, finding a job, traveling, no tips, how I got my green card, anything like that. Let me know in the comments and I will make something tailor-made for you. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you're still with me, I'm China Urban Fox. Do subscribe if you're willing, up to you. And I will catch you again for a similar video one day very soon. Catch you later.